Hi. Yeah. So I've did a couple talks here already. I'm sort of world renowned for the deep technical content that I put in my talks, and that is not this talk. This talk is very, very different. This talk is about people, about yourself, about myself, about emotions, and about how their interactions with our daily lives can change or make or break our life experience. So I'm not a psychologist. I don't pretend to be one. This is my experiences. Might be different from yours. So I'm not going to attempt to say, do this, don't do that. But I'm going to present you with a number of ways to think about problems that might be new to you. And from that, you should draw your own conclusions. So I asked that we make this place a safe place for a little while. And what does that mean? I've done this talk on a number of occasions. People sometimes have deep emotional responses. If that happens, let them be. Don't tell them to man up. Don't try to hug and console them, because that will tell them they're being socially unacceptable, and they will attempt to squash their emotions. And that's probably not the right thing to do there. Just let them be. So I'm going to give you a short story about emotional processing. And it's going to get a little ugly in the middle. So I'm coding. I'm in the flow. I do it all the time. I really love to code. It's my creative moment. I love building things with my mind and my fingers, and there's math and there's logics floating around, and I'm making something new. It's very exciting and fulfilling. And my creativity is up, and my emotional armor is down, when suddenly, hey, Cliff, what the fuck? I showed the new code to a customer and it crashed. Oh my God, I got egg all over my face. I'm utterly unprepared. Shocked into silence. My peace has been shattered. Code and angry words are blurring in my head. You're supposed to be a hotshot. Why didn't you test it? Well, of course I'm testing it. It's still alpha code. It has many known bugs. Your crap is crap. Get out of my sight. The attacker walks off. Now I'm left reeling. Maybe an hour later, I'll come up with that snappy comeback that I should have said at the spot. But I never figured out in the moment. It just never comes when I need it. What just happened to me? Why was I stun-locked by that verbal assault? The speaker should have known that the code was barely baked. The entire dev team did. It wasn't ready to show it in any kind of form. And why yell at me for this guy doing something foolish? Obviously, the fool is not me. And that's the wrong question to ask. Because why fools yell is not important. Fools will yell at you all your life. No, the right question was, why was I stun-locked? Why did I get driven into silence and backed into a corner by a mere act of words? It's because I can't do verbal processing and emotional processing at the same time. Can't do them. They're utterly distinct somehow in my head. And figuring this out has been profound for me, because I can compensate for it now. So if I just shouted at you back there and you felt a little bit of a stun in your face and an inability to maybe think past getting shouted at, this might apply to you in some way. So let's do that story again, but this time a little more depth and a little more thinking through what's going on. So we're going to shorten it a little bit too. So I'm coding, I'm in the flow, and my creativity's up, and life is good, emotional armor's down, and suddenly, hey, what the fuck? Okay, that's a verbal assault on my ego. And I just took a hit in the back. And I'm doing emotional processing, I'm recovering from it. My fight or flight response is kicking in. My head's still full of code logics. I've hardly got the world in my head yet. I'm still thinking math and code things. And before I figure out what he did and why he's mad, you're supposed to be a hotshot. Why didn't you test it? Okay, this attack is an ad hominem attack. It's just name calling or insult calling. Supposed to be, it's a direct assault against my self-esteem. Why didn't you test it? An example of my poor skills. Well, of course I test it. And I'm proud of my skills. This is me emotionally processing again this attack. So at this point, my ego guard is up. All his further blah, blah, blah will be ignored. So I start making judgment calls on his character, and he gets one parting shot in before he leaves. Get out of my sight. It's the other way around. You get out of my sight, right? He knows it, so he's leaving now because no more verbal assaults will hurt. But I am emotionally wrecked by such the attack. Pulled completely out of the flow, my adrenaline is flowing, my hands are shaking, I am wound to the nth degree, I'm ready for fight or flight. It'll be hours before I can code again. This has happened to me on multiple occasions. This is not a one-off event in my life. And so slowly I calm down, and the adrenaline ebbs, and my intellect kicks in. I'm a smart guy. I can replay the conversation in my head over and over and over and over and over and over. I'm spinning. I'm just stewing on it. I'm not making any forward progress. Eventually, my intellect comes up with some snappy intellectual response. Hey, I should have said yada, 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 the dude. Comes way, way late, hours too late. Takes me literally decades of my life before I realize I can't do verbal processing and emotional processing at the same time. Can't. A verbal assault starts me down the path of emotional processing. Why am I being attacked? Am I not worthy? What did I do? I screwed up. What happened? And I'll not have any words until I sort myself out. So what can I do about it? Well, I can make an action plan. I can not make up words during the assault, so my action plan can't be saying anything that I have to think about on the spot. But I can memorize words ahead of time. Rote words, blind words, useful for all such attacks. I need space, I'm leaving. There are a lot of variations on the same thing, but they all say, I'm getting away, and I'm out of here. Now, if it's a relationship that you want to maintain, like your spouse, girlfriend, maybe you also add, I'll be back later. Don't have to put time on it, nothing more than that, then get away. Walk away, run away, hang up the phone, block your texts, quit looking at WhatsApp, whatever it is, just end the assault. Because it is an assault. It's an abusive assault with words, right? Leave the attacker behind and just end the abuse. No one needs it. And when I get my peace, I get a non-verbal silence. Music's fine for me in this case. I need no words. I find my zen in my peace. And I know that I didn't screw up. I'm not to blame. I am worthy. So after the attack, and I've come to my zen, what follows? Well, there's a bunch of things that follow that aren't obvious, but you have to handle them or they'll eat you up inside. Anger. Hey, Cliff, your crap is crap. The fool walked away here. Fight is over for the fool, but it's not over for me. My warrior has picked up my ego armor, my adrenaline is pumping, I am ready for fight or flight. The stress does not just fade away, it sticks around for a long time, maybe years. I'm angry right now. I need to do something right now. My body demands I act now. That's what adrenaline's for. So I'm angry, I want to attack somebody, anybody. I'm smart enough not to attack somebody who's dangerous, so maybe I attack somebody who is safe. Say my spouse, the dog, kids. I raised 4 good kids. They still love me. The person next to me, right? I'm angry at the fool. I'll attack who is safe to attack. It's wrong twice, right? Once because I end up attacking the very people who are trying to help me. Probably innocent bystanders who saw the attack and know it was a stupid thing going on, and they're feeling my pain and trying to help. And twice because my anger isn't directed at the source. The fool took no repercussions. He walked away scot-free. He's safe to attack me again. And yet, I still need to get the anger out. Because if you keep anger inside you, if you stuff it in and you stuff it in, I'm so mad, and you stuff it in, and I won't show it, and I won't show it, and I'll make a smile for the boss, it leads to depression. It's high stress, causes all kinds of follow-on health issues. So the key here is to get the anger out of you, but not at somebody, right? You have to do a physical activity to get the adrenaline out. But not at means not focused on a person. So go for a run. Go to the gym, take a walk, get a tennis ball, tennis court, hit the ball as hard as you can, put the fool's face in the ball and smash it around until your sweat rises and your anger fades. It's that heavy aerobic action that will burn the adrenaline out and remove from you the physical thing that your body prepped for on the attack. And now you need to work through the emotions once the anger fades, right? What happened to me? You were attacked. I got attacked. That's legit, right? And I need to move past that. It's no stew on it. I got attacked. I can't think past I got attacked. No, move past, right? Harvest the best, toss the rest. What was useful? What did I learn? Well, I learned Joe from sales is an asshole. There's some useful learning. Painful, but useful. For me, talking through it works best by talking to what I call the village, the civic, the people around me, the society that we globally form, including everyone in the audience here. Friends and family, coworkers, it doesn't matter. I want to talk, and the act of having somebody hear my story validates that I'm sane in my head, that I wasn't an idiot, that I didn't do anything stupidly wrong. For you, it's probably different. Painting, singing, writing, sailing a boat, meditation, long, quiet hikes in a beautiful place. Whatever you find your zen, your peace, you get a chance to work through those emotions. But know that you need time to sort it out. It doesn't just happen instantly, and you have to give yourself that time. So when the hubbub of life settles down and the kids which need attention right now and have to be dealt with despite my horrible day at the office or whatever, when life gets quiet, don't reach for things to make noise in your life. Put down the Facebook and the funny little game, and the Netflix and the loud friends with loud drinks, and work through what happened. Just like a body injury, like you skinned your knee when you fell off your bike, just like that, your soul needs some time to heal too. You need a little personal rest and recovery, a little comfort food, tender loving care, TLC, something like that. Okay, I'm going to show some different stories, but with the same sort of mindset in place. So this same pattern of being unable to do verbal and emotional processing shows up in my love life. So I was married almost 20 years and divorced more than a decade ago now, quite some time ago. And I dated a bunch after my divorce. That happens, right? And always a few months into to dating, I would always get, Cliff, do you love me? And now I'm speechless. I'm thinking, what if I say no? Will she walk away? Is she so concerned about love at this point? It's too soon. I mean, I like her a lot, but this takes longer. And for my actual feelings, that's a deep soul search, which I can't really do while she's hanging on me and whispering and looking for sweet nothings, and I'm just too distracted. So I'm silent. And then I think again, in my silence, what? Rejection? She thinks I don't like her. It's more worries, more concerns. It's me being stunned like doing emotional processing again. Same problem, same solution. Prepare a verbal response before it gets bad. You know I really like you, but it's not love, at least not yet. I don't know really. I have to search myself, search my soul to decide that, and I can't do that now. That takes days. So you notice in this answer, I didn't say yes or no. I definitely promised an answer down the road. I put a timeline on it, but it was a generous timeline, enough for me to actually come up with the right answer. So the person on the other side is also having their own soul-searching problems, and they're trying to figure out what to do with their life, and they deserve an answer. So I'm going to give them an answer, a real one, but that will take some time, hence some days in the message. Same pattern in my sex life. Sex is highly emotional for me. I suspect it is for everybody. I can't talk because there's a lot of emotions going on. No amount of poking or prodding changes that. So I can listen, I can act, I can be guided, I speak with my own actions, same solution, talk it out in the light of day before the emotions hit. So no more on that in case people get a little too excited. So here's a work-based story of the same issue. Somebody's excited about a solution, and they're sharing it. loudly and excitedly, hey, I finally figured out how to solve X. Oh, we just need to do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And others are getting excited and talking out the problem, and they're sharing solutions. They're brainstorming. This is a good thing. And quietly sitting in the corner is somebody maybe with a bright idea, somebody listening quietly, watching, paying close attention, too afraid to speak up. They're thinking, what if I'm wrong? I'll look like a fool. I wish I could talk, but I can't. They won't believe me anyhow. I'm not worthy. All the things that nervous junior people say to themselves that keep them from raising their hands in class, in the office, and everywhere in life show up here. They're doing emotional processing, and they cannot come up with words. And from the outside looking in, as a tech leader, it's really easy to spot now that I know what to look for. There's the loud few sharing loudly. And over in the corner, some quiet, intent listeners. Something's going on here. So as a leader, I need to step in. And I don't want to shut down the brainstorming. That's the good stuff. And I don't want to shut down the brainstormers because they're doing good things. But I want to make a verbal space. Some way acknowledge that the quiet ones are also worthy of talking. Encourage them to speak up. Make a safer place for quiet thinkers to speak. So the loud speakers, they need to be acknowledged. Their ego needs feeding like everybody else. Probably one of the reasons they want to be acknowledged loudly is because this is how they get their own good feelings about the world, that they have their peers tell them they had a good idea. That's their own self-worth coming in. So I want to acknowledge that. Hey, Larry, I heard you suggest XXX. Is that right? So I'm not shutting Larry down, and I'm not claiming he's right or wrong. It's a brainstorming session. All bets are off. All things are worthy of looking at. And after Larry says, yeah, I got it right, I said the right kind of thing there, I see some quiet listeners. Anyone else want to chime in? And suddenly a verbal space appears. I make it safe for other people to say something where they're not getting overrun by the loud people who are being loud. So I'm going to switch a little bit and go to some more generic strategies about thinking about emotions and about people in general in life. None of these are hard and fast rules, and none of them are things you must or must not or whatever. These are all generalities, but useful ways of thinking about the world. Aspects, farmer, magi, warrior. We all show some of these in different portions. A farmer is somebody who enjoys hard work and what he makes with his labor. I built a house today, carpenter might say, right? Tradesman, somebody, construction worker, the baker who shows up at 4 a.m., preps all his work, bakes the loaves of bread, and at 6, the busy commuters come in and grab the fresh bread from the shelves, and he sees all the hungry mouths he's feeding, and he gets his self-worth from being there for them. Magi enjoys smart work and building magical things, right? Got a GUI working today. That's programmers, that's all of us. Doctors, experts in all walk of life. People who do, I don't know, bridge and building inspection, people who design, architect things, people who construct whatever things that are difficult to make in the world. They like knowing, I do at least, that I have a power to make something that other people find amazing. Whereas a warrior revels in the fight. Close the deal, right? That's a used car salesman or a CEO or a lawyer. These people might enjoy the spoils of the fight, but the spoils are merely evidence that the fight was a worthwhile fight. They're actually in it for the fight. So these aspects show up again and again in my stories and my responses, in my actions or my lack of actions, and my preparation for situations I know well are coming. And it's a useful tool to understand myself, to know my strengths and know my weaknesses and compensate better. My strengths tend to take care of themselves. And you'll hope people say, play to your strength. Yeah, that's true, and you'll do it. But being well-rounded is better yet. And knowing that you have some weaknesses and preparing for them will help you not just fall down when the first little pothole comes along that's not in your strength. Okay. Programmers and conflict avoiders, introverts of all kinds, at least I certainly haven't practiced my warrior very much. At this point in my life, quite a bit more than I was when I was younger. And the warrior skill is unskilled, it's naive, and easily pushed into defense by skilled warriors. This is classically called being dominated by alpha males. It's real, it happens, it's happened to me all my life. Acknowledging it lets me prepare for it. So how would a warrior handle my original story? Imagine some New York City lawyer on the receiving end of, hey, Cliff, what the fuck? What? You're the fucking idiot. That was a fool thing to do. Verbal assault, easily returned tit for tat. This is the warrior skill set. I got attacked, I attack back. Okay, a little different view, instead about yourself, about the people around you, right? Red, yellow, green people, flag them. I'll tell you why in just a second. Greens, people who are safe to be around. These are your friends that you trust. Honest counselors, no hurting words, no sarcasm. You can share freely with them, good, bad, ugly, stupid, doesn't matter, and they'll laugh with you and cry with you, and they are there for you. Reds, people who are unsafe. You cringe when they approach. Sometimes you get attacked, sometimes get asked unreasonable demands. Your guard will go up, your creativity ends. How many people have had a job where when the boss walked in the room, everybody was very busy suddenly and paying close attention to where the boss was, but their productivity dropped in half because they weren't actually coding, they were actually trying to cover their ass. This is a red. Yellows are just people in the middle. You drop your guard, but you drop it carefully. And maybe they're cool to be around sometimes, maybe you don't want to deal. So why flag people? Because it brings your magi aspect into your relationships. And possibly your magi is your strongest aspect. It lets you use your brain, your intelligence, to make cost-benefit trade-offs, right? Angry Ann, full of biting sarcasm, dark humor, fun party animal, is hanging around her worth it? Sometimes, always, never. She has this cool, snarky thing she says about the boss, and she says about other people, and what does she say about you when you're not around? Bring your magi to bear. Decide for yourself. So, know your greens. Mine are my brother, and now my wife. I just married not very long ago. My ex is being ornery, my boss has yelled at me, my health claim got denied, I got speeding tickets, whatever crappy thing happened. Reach out for your greens and get that support. And just knowing that they're there mitigates much of the trauma. Life's a lot better knowing that I have somebody there, right? So use them. People really do like helping each other. And it's always very life-affirming for me when I end up being somebody else's green. It's happened a couple times on this trip already where somebody came to me and said, basically, this talk at a prior conference saved their life. I don't know if it'll save anyone's here, but it's very life-affirming for me to hear that. And it will be for you when you reach out to somebody for help and they help. Know that you're helping them as well. And then lose the reds. This one's harder to do, but you need to try really hard to do it. You're not going to change them. You don't need the negativity and the stress. And your passion, your love, and your skill, they'll all suffer while you're busy cringing and defending against what may come as an attack from the red. It can be worse if the red is someone close in your life, like a boss or a parent or a spouse. You can get trapped into siege mode, always ducking your head, always averting, slowly getting beaten down into a mass of sadness. Cry for help. No one can hear you scream in your head. But if you show up at a hospital ER and say, help me, they will. And if you say, I don't know what to do, anything at all, they'll figure out pretty quickly to test you for depression. It's really easy. A couple quick questions, and they'll send, you need to go see a psychologist for this. Other things, other ways to get rid of reds. They kind of sort of friends. Pick your activities with care. Bail out as needed. Asshole walked in the front door, walk out after him. Boss or coworker, complain uphill. Facts are crucial here. He said, she said is not productive. Collect your email trails. Collect your friends' email trails or text or Slack channel or whatever. Have a paper trail to show the dick maneuvers that's going on. The guy who's always taking credit and always handing blame out to other people but never actually getting his own thing done, right? Worst case scenario, change jobs. Life's too short to hate what you do. You should love to go to work like you go to play. It's a fun world out there. There's lots and lots of cool things to go do. Don't have a suck-ass job, life, work experience. Now, if it's your spouse that's your red at the moment, now you need some serious therapy. Talk therapy helped me a lot. I don't know the right answer, but know that you need help and start looking around to get it. Okay, different topic. Love, change, and mind reading. Mind reading. Okay, no matter how much you love somebody, they will not change. Change comes from within, not from without. I cannot change you, right? Only you can change you. And I might want you to change, and I want you to change badly, and you might know it, and you might decide to change, but unless you do that, my wishes are for naught. Doesn't matter what I want here, you have to decide to change, right? And then vice versa, in both directions. Mind reading. No matter how much you love somebody, you cannot read their mind, nor can they yours. So much broken expectations come from this. Your partner did something to hurt you. Did they do it on purpose? Why would they hurt me? I don't understand. I just need to love them more and they'll quit hurting me. Bullshit. They probably just don't know. Much more likely, your partner has no idea that you got hurt. Mention it. And you're much more likely to get a reasonable answer. Hey, you know I really got hurt there? What? Wait, what? No. I didn't hurt you. I didn't mean to hurt you. And maybe, if they love you enough, how did that hurt? I don't understand. And with that understanding comes the change. Not by you loving them, but because they love you, and they just didn't understand how they hurt you. Okay, salary negotiations. We're going to put all this together here in a little bit. Funny joke I heard, right? Fighting with a lawyer is like wrestling with a pig in the mud. The lawyer's enjoying it. You're going to get really, really dirty, and you're very unlikely to win. My fellow down here looks very, very dirty, and I don't think the pig is bothered at all. Same with used car salesmen. They sell cars to non-warriors every day. It's what they do. Nothing personal about it. It's just their job, and they're certainly good at it. Same with human resources. They negotiate salaries every day. Nothing personal about it, no emotions attached. It's just their job to get your skills at the best price. The HR rep has a salary range in mind, a skill set, a set of recommendations, some jargon words. If they're a headhunter, they don't know what the heck they're saying. Their job, get the requested skills at the lowest price. And they're looking at a lot of candidates. And afterwards, they kind of step out of the picture. No hard feelings, no regrets. They talked with you, they interviewed, they set things up. They checked with the hiring crew. Everything seems good. They're done. They walked away from a job well done. No real interaction with the hiring team. But that salary they negotiated, that's your standard of living for years to come. So, salary negotiations. There's a fight. There's a pleasant, hello, how are you, welcome to yada, yada, yada. And then, like any good warrior, there's an attack made. It's an acceptable attack. It's a socially acceptable. It's a verbal. So, how much are you making now, Cliff? Or, so Cliff, how much do you need? Right? And immediately I'm thinking, if I tell them I'll only get offered a little bit above that, I know I'm worth more. How is my self-worth judged by a number anyhow? I'm doing emotional processing again. It's my unskilled warrior on the defensive. And pretty soon I feel backed into a corner. I really need this job. I need it. I got to tell them so that I get an offer. So I tell them. And of course, the fight is lost before it hardly began. And I get an expected lame offer, and I'm feeling underappreciated for years to come. So, first things first, acknowledge that there is a fight. It's a polite fight. It's a civil fight. I volunteered to be there, but it's a fight nonetheless. And you need to treat it like a fight. So do what a warrior would do. Practice and prepare. And these are different. And most of you will be skipping the practice part in your lives, and that's where you're going to get hurt. Am I out of time? Is that what I'm getting told? So, your magi does your preparations, but your warrior does the fighting. And so your warrior needs to practice So prepare. This is your magi at work. Know your worth. Look it up. Go to monster.com, dice.com, job boards everywhere, right? Read books on doing job interviews. You're looking to do a cross-sell within a company, you're going to hire somebody else, you're going to go do something else. Look it up, read about it. BATNA is another one to go look up. Best alternative to a negotiated agreement. It's what you get when you don't get what you want. It's your plan B. It's your fallback position. I have this job. I want that job. It looks better. My plan B is I stay in the job I'm at. That's my BATNA. Your warrior needs this information readily in the fight, because when the emotions are running high and things are looking wonky and he's not quite sure what to do, he'll use your BATNA to make the call on the spot, take it or leave it, because that will happen. Practice, unlike preparation, hits you in a different place, trains a different warrior muscle. Preparation gives you intellectual ammo and lets you think through what to do. We're all thinkers. We think through problems in computers every day. That's your magi at work. But your warrior turns knowledge into action. It's very different. And this is what you most need to practice. So, practice. Get a partner to play HR. Set up a real desk in a real office with some timing. Show up at 5 or whenever you've agreed to. Have the partner being in the power seat. You dress up nice, you get out of your comfort zone, no casual slacks and blue jeans, but do what you would do for a standard job interview, play out the negotiation. Partner asks you some tough questions. So, Cliff, how much do you make? So, Cliff, we looked at your coding test, it looked kind of average. We were thinking, you were more senior than that, so, how do you handle negative feedback, right? How do you feel when you get shitted at in the job interview on the spot? Does it make you feel bad? That might be on purpose to keep you off balance so that you'll take the worse offer, the better one from the HR rep's point of view, right? Practice answering common questions like, how much are you making now? Turns out you don't have to answer that question, not to the number of what you're making, but you have to answer the asker. So you do something here, but you don't have to tell what you make. I'm asking for XXX, some number I've prepared ahead of time, right? Because of my great skills, because I'm a great fit for this job. I've looked at what you guys are doing. I know I can help you guys. I think I'm worth 120K because this is what this is what I would take to solve your problem. Don't answer what you are being asked, but have an answer. Spend the time. A better salary is totally worth a few hours spent, because you might be living with that salary for a long, long time. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. Salary negotiations. Acknowledge that it's a fight. It's a polite fight. It's civil. It's only verbal, but it's a fight. And like any fight, you should prepare and practice. Preparation uses your strong magi skills already. You've probably already done half of this, even as I'm talking it. But your practice may help your not so strong warrior. And warrior is what will turn knowledge into action. The knowledge you get from your magi about what you can expect, what you can fall back to, what your different choices are, the warrior will turn that into the action that he has to be done on the spot. Give your inner warrior that fighting chance. Love. It does not change all, although it does change you. And you still suck as a mind reader. So quit assuming. Ask. It's really cheap to ask. Green, yellow, red people, make the judgment call. Just keep it quietly in your head. And note that you're not declaring some red person as a bad person, just bad for you. And avoid them, right? Lose the reds. Know that you can lean on your greens. And when the attack is emotional, leave. Get away, walk. Find your space, find your peace, find your zen, right? And if there's anger involved, get it out, but not at, because that doesn't help the target. And it really doesn't help you either. You need to get that anger out, but don't hurt anybody while doing it. So physical activity to release the anger. You have to do physical activity to burn adrenaline. You just have to. The easy answer, get up and walk. Walk out the door, go around the block, right? But release the anger before it turns into depression. Give yourself time and space for soul healing. Honor your wound, right? Know that your skinned knee, like a skinned heart, needs some time, some little tender loving care. Self-awareness is a lifelong journey, and we're all at different places on it. People can be stuck in one place for decades and then move forwards again. It happens. You'll meet old men who behave like children. He who dies with the most toys wins. Or heard wisdom from the mouth of babes. So don't judge people for where they are at in life, as in turn you may not wish to be judged. And that's it. So.
All right, thank you very much, Kyiv. If I'm not mistaken, we have time to question and answer session.
I would
yes,
yeah.
We want. We want. Yes. All right. So let's think a few seconds, and if you have some question, let us know. Raise your hands up.
No need for extra words. This is not an auction. It's not your final answer. No. It's all good. So it is Q&A time, but maybe not. And there's somebody in the back already. So you might have to stand up so people with a microphone can get to you, because no one will be able to hear you from back there. Okay, right there, guy standing, looking for a mic. Come out, sir. Come out this way, and tell me your question, and I'll repeat it verbally until we get a mic to you. Okay, he's over on the right-hand side. I see people running down the left. Oh, there's more than one. Come up front. A guy on the right who I just chased out. Okay, whoever wants. Whoever wants to go first. I'm all good. Yep. Yeah.
Hey, sir. You said if I'm attacked, I shall leave. But why to fight back is bad idea?
It's not a bad idea, but people will make bad decisions when they're run on their emotions alone. If you have the words to fight back, then do so, but in a way that's reasonable. So there are good ways to run a fight where everyone's left respectful at the end, and there are bad ways. My fight opened up with a guy starting with ad hominem attacks, and that's a bad way to run a fight. That fight won't get better by throwing ad hominem insults back, but you might shut him down, at least a little bit. In this case, if you have the words, you can try it, but it can get ugly fast where no one wins. Whereas if you walk, there's time for thinking to go around, and then a quiet conversation later might be much more productive. Like you have a few words with his boss, and say, programmers try to get something done, getting shouted out in the back just ended the productivity for the day. You might have a talk with sales guy X about how he treats the engineers who are making the golden goose that he's busy trying to sell the eggs for, right? Okay, I have a spotlight in my eyes. I can't see anything. Oh. Are we going to one on the right, my right? Yes, my other right there.
Hi, thank you for your speech. I have a question. You mentioned that there are red peoples, and red peoples, it's not actually bad at all. It's only bad for you, for me. So is it a good idea just to leave red peoples, or it is better to change your mind, to change criteria, how you judge such peoples?
You have to decide how you want to live your life. And you have the best judgment of who's right or wrong for you, certainly not me. So no, you don't learn to accept. You also have to live in the world where there are people around who are kind of, everyone's been cut off by the rude driver. It happens. You have to learn to live with that. But if you have an interaction going on where you think the other person's not being good and repeatedly not being good, and you want to flag them red, they're probably a red for you, and yeah, you should walk. Don't change who you are to accept the abuse.
Sometimes you need to understand why this people is red, why they act in this way, and then maybe you will change your mind.
If you can come to the understanding of why they are being angrily toward you, then sometimes you can lead them forward in a path where they quit being angry, help them understand themselves. But people are ready to understand and accept help when they're ready and not when you understand what they might need. So it's not necessarily the case that You see their pain, you understand why they're angry, you have something that you think will help them, and they're going to listen. They just may not be listening. So you have to decide, it's worth a try once or twice, but at some point, if they're not listening, they're not going to listen. And it's just time to walk away and save your energy for a more productive endeavor.
Okay, thank you.
I got a front row here.
Thank you for the talk very much. I think it's something we needed in this conference. I have a question. You talked about red people and about how to act with them and red people for you. But what if you are red people or red person for someone? How to detect it, or maybe you don't want to be it on purpose?
So there are some cases where you can know you are. As soon as you're the boss, you immediately, whether you love it or hate it, you picked up a red flag from everybody around you because you have a power relationship that dictates they get to keep or don't keep their job. So no matter what you do, you're the asshole. Now, you can be a really nice one, and they might think that's an okay, and they'll live with it, and they'll put it a little red color on the yellow flag, and it's an orange, and it's okay. And that's what we'd like to get, hope to get. You could have a green boss. It happens. I won't say never, but I will say, the first assumption is I have to please this person. They hold my job in their hands. Immediately, that means I'm deferential. I am watching out for them. I am trying to figure out what's the right or wrong thing to do or say. And there's a lot of triggers around that. If I have myself triggers about things that I think are normal and other people think are different, or you as the boss have a certain trigger or not or whatever, like claws on the whiteboard like drives you nuts and I don't know it and I accidentally trigger, there's a tension there. Otherwise, I would say treat people how you would like to treat yourself, be treated yourself, and you're not automatically any worse than just what that is for being the boss.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And if somebody tells you something's going on, then, listen carefully.
Okay, thanks.
Whatever you want to do here. So I feel like I chased you off, but the loud drumming music isn't like helpful for conversations like this. So I'm apologizing for shutting you down. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Me, yes. I have experienced that when you encounter yourself being like the red person, maybe without intention, sometimes it's good to walk away yourself and then you can resolve the problem.
Totally, if you feel the anger rising and you realize you've been shouting, yeah, you can walk. Yeah. I've had red employees who were screaming at me. They were going through an ugly divorce. I totally understood. I was giving them their chance. Somewhere in the middle of the screaming at me, they realized they were being the red, and they turned and walked. No harm, no foul, whatever. The person was going through a rough patch in life. That's just what happens. Another one there.
Hi, thanks for your speech. I have a feeling that what you said, like going out when someone is shouting to you, sounds like giving up. So you are losing from the very beginning.
Are you done, or you want me to go on?
I'm done.
Okay. So you're winning and you're losing. You lost that fight, but you lost it already because your back was turned and you got stabbed in the back. Fights are never fair. The person who starts the fight only starts because they think they're going to win. So they're going to throw the haymaker out the door at your undefended back. That's how the fight starts. You're on the losing ground badly already. Don't let the fight turn into a drag-out scrum on the floor kind of thing. You walk because it wasn't socially acceptable what was done to you. You walk because you need to think through the right answer, and it's going to be really hard to think through it unless you can keep your balance in the face of an unexpected verbal assault. There are people who can do that, but that is not the normal person, nor is it typical of introverts. So I won't say you can't do that, and I won't say anyone else in the room is or is not this way, but I suspect if we tested people, we discovered a whole lot of folks can get stun locked really fast by an angry person attacking them from behind. Walk away and give yourself a chance to put yourself together and prepare a better defense for the next time it comes around, which might include, like I mentioned before, talking to the guy's boss about his inappropriate behavior, which might get him kicked off the job, and then ultimately you win the war. Lose that battle, but win the war. Here we have somebody there, yeah.
Yeah, I have a question actually. You halfly answered to my question. When you accept the first time he attacked you, you accept, but you know you're right. You did you did right, everything right. And actually what your back action can be just the next daily or just speeches you say, this person talked to me officially, everyone knows, and he will know about this, and that will understand it doesn't work in one direction. He will also get back, and he will never do again same thing.
Okay, I missed what you're trying to get across. Are you asking a question, or are you trying to make a point?
I'm asking a question. If you have a daily and you announce it that I had a bad feeling about this last speech, and other team members knows about this, and just make it a bit more public that it doesn't work in this way.
Oh, does it work?
Yeah.
So when you go public with an attack, you're attempting to shame the other person, which is itself a kind of attack back against his unprotected back. So you can do that route, and the social consequences sometimes work right, but it has to be played correctly, or else it looks like you're being like the gossipy guy who's being a dick back. You're better off if you can make it clear as a defensive measure for other people of the engineering team that this sales guy comes around periodically and shouts at people. That will help their defenses without making you look like you're trying to shame the other person. Whereas if you actually want to have something sort of direct to have him stop doing it, it's best to have that response come from somebody that he respects. So the sales guy doesn't respect you, or he wouldn't have attacked you. But he does respect his boss, who can fire him, and the boss respects how you guys make money, right? So the boss understands, hopefully somewhere up the food chain, that it's important for engineers to be happy or they don't be productive. So that person who the sales guy respects will chew him out and says, don't fuck the engineering team up again or you're out of here. That the sales guy will hear. You can say all you want to his sales guy's face that that was a bad thing, don't do it. If he's in a clean, sane mind, he might hear it, but if he's in a clean, sane mind, he wouldn't have done it in the first place, right? All right, another one.
Hello. Yeah. Thanks for your speech. Very interesting one. Could you please clarify how to define that you are that someone is already angry at you, you are already in the red zone, and most probably simply asking whether you are in the red zone won't help. What do you do? What are the best practices? Thanks.
Red zone is because that person has flagged you, so you think you're in the red zone. People will flag you for reasons that have nothing to do with you. You look like my abusive dad who raped me when I was a child. Nothing you can or say or do about it, you're in the red zone. And until that person gets their own emotions straightened out, there's nothing you can do about it. So you can play buddy-buddy if they learn to trust you, then and hopefully you're deserving of it. Maybe they'll slide you from red to yellow and wherever. But if you get flagged immediately for being red without you doing anything about it, expect that they have some trigger that you touched, and you don't know what that trigger is. You're a lousy mind reader, they're a lousy mind reader, but you resemble somebody that hurt them in the past, and so they triggered on it. And then maybe, you can work past the trigger, and they can understand themselves that is an incorrect application of the trigger, and they should save that particular red bomb for somebody else. But it may not. So mostly what I'm talking about here is how you behave yourself because you have limited power to change other people. If they are ready to be changed, if they're ready to listen, change can happen. But if you just come at them with, hey, you know, I'm not that person, and that wasn't really fair, they may not be listening anyhow, and it doesn't matter what you say. Okay, well, it's been quiet, and I think it's like dinner time, so why don't we declare end and wrap it up? And